What went wrong with the Baltimore City Police Department and Freddie Gray?
Give me a Mac and a 9 and I'm armed to do it. I had them slugs run up in you like embalming fluid. I'm out that mob and I got the scars to prove it. What's the point of holding heat without the heart to use it? Cops are clueless, so they can't stop the movement. I'm a YG nigga and the Glock is ruthless. FM is the main attraction. Aim the Gatlin and watch niggas fall like it's a chain reaction. Mainly stacking, now that the game is black. And I'm the first in command and shank rocks the captain. And my flow changed from white gold to platinum. I put the yay down, Cuddy. Now I'm finally rapping. Better lay down, buddy, or you know what I had.
The first thing that went wrong was they pursued her. They never were supposed to pursue her. They didn't have probable cause to pursue her.
This is real Baltimore. No. This is what people have to wake up and wonder where they're going to go to get them in.
That wasn't the first riot. The first riots happened with when the Baltimore banks made bad investments. You had a riot that was known as the Baltimore Bank Riot. I don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing the mother of the year, but we have to look at how they played that whole situation. It goes back to the old Willie Lynch. When she went upside his head and smacked him and everything. Now, if I'd done it, a black man would have done that on national television. They would have locked me up.
I'm from the city that reads, my city still bleeds. And homicides multiply like cops with keys, you do the math. On my block you won't last, as a youngin' had to be gunning and you won't last. Don't show me a cannon, my reach too fast, don't think I wasn't. Got the rumor mill buzzing, my hootin' sent your cousin back to you with a concussion. Just cause my teeth is flashing, didn't think that I would blast him. Not unless he touched my faction, then we gotta get the mashing. A DE will be catching, rest in pieces with they tagging. You never catch me bragging, that's the code I live by gladly. Protect me and my family, cause silence is a virtue. Then them boys, they come to hurt you, and who you gon' run to? They labeled you a cold blue, now your own family don't know you. Your neighborhood don't trust you, now see all the issues go through. Snitches get stitches, man, for running your mouth. It's my block, not the corner, not the wire, where the cops cocking fire. Ain't no way to get you higher, it's my block.
Now let me take it elementary school. The man has to step up and take his full responsibility back into the community. Your OGs, I need the OGs to be real OGs, man, and let the young ones know that it's not about banging that gun. It's not about killing, but you know, teach them, man. Look, go to school, get an education.
We out that mall, and it's simple and plain. Lane that we headed to the top of the game.
Salute everybody. I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Let me read my copyright disclaimer, and then we're going to jump straight into tonight's demonstration. Give me a few seconds, and I'm going to read this disclaimer, and we're going to let it go. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything that you hear in this video that I call a demonstration is the opinions of mine and others. Everything that you hear in this video is allegedly. I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Trump and Kamala debate breakdown. It's part 2. And also switching lanes, sector news. When is it okay to clap back on YouTube? Let me salute my chat. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Salute Shano. This will be an open panel, and I will drop the link, and any and everyone is welcome to hit the panel. Salute Nola. Salute Perk. Salute Jamie. I see you, TT. Salute, TT. Spoken Facts. Tina. Appreciate all of y'all for being here. Denithia says, I think Trump is getting over Kamala. Actually, when he sees her, he act like a schoolboy. Both times he grabs her hand with both hands. He likes a challenge. And she's definitely a challenge for him. And I do believe that she keeps him on his A game. Salute positive vibes. Salute positive vibes. Salute Michelle. I see you. Salute Tracy. Salute. I see everybody. You can say what you want to say. Salute Cotan. But with Kamala, if y'all notice, with Kamala forced Trump to be on his A game. As much as Trump wanted to cut a fool, he did it a few times. A few times he got loose a little bit. He was in his character. But if you notice, for the most part, he remained on his A game. He had to, because she did not come to play. She did not come to play at all. She did not come to play. We're going to start off with the actual debate, and then we'll get into the switching lanes sector, the news. When is it okay to clap back? And then we'll finish it off. We'll come back to the actual debate. Positive Vibe says Trump cleaned up for her too. He fixed his toupee and makeup. Yeah. She had him on his A game. But the switching lanes, the sector news, I'm going to be talking about what me, along with the other content creators, got coming up. And also, I don't know if you want to revisit your situation from earlier today. You're welcome to speak on it, or you're welcome to just, lay low. But I do want to speak on it as far as you have a content creator, and this is what I tell people all the time. Even Jesus kicked over the tax collector's table in his father's house. Even a just man, even a peaceful man and a humble man, if you push them, if you keep poking them, they're going to clap back. So don't get it twisted. Just because you have content creators like myself and others, just because you have these content creators that don't bother nobody, that's all about their content. Just because, they're all about their content and they're not into that scratching lane, don't get it twisted, because they can go there. Now, I've been in the YouTube streets for a minute now, and I watched some innocent content creators. I watched some innocent subscribers get dragged into a whole bunch of mess. It's all fine and dandy when the instigator is scratching. And this is why I tell everybody, don't come and tell Shank, don't clap back. Shank, man, just stay down. Shank, it ain't worth it. Shank, turn the other cheek. Nah, you go tell that person that started all of this. You go tell that person that instigated all of this. You go tell them the same things that you telling me. Because one thing about it, when you push a person and they bring it, you got to let them handle their business. And that's why earlier today, that's why I told Perk, I said, Perk, handle your business. Now, I wasn't aware of everything that was going on. I was aware of a little of it. a little bit of it. But at the end of the day, go handle your business. So we're going to jump into the debate, and then we're going to come back. And like I said, the link is dropped, and we're going to talk about when is it okay to clap back. You know, the first law of the universe is self-preservation. You can't get mad at a person because they clap back. And you can't expect that person to turn the other cheek. Nah, you run and tell that person. You know what I mean? Don't come telling the person that got stomped or kicked. Don't tell them to lay back. Nah, but let's jump into some of this debate. And I got the link dropped, so anybody that want to hit the link with me, feel free to pull up. You don't even have to have a membership.
To you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful.
It's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. So wonderful, let's go to Congress, do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government, and we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women, who are working one or two jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. And that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President.
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month? Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask me that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer the
Wade,
question.
And this where we left off at. For those that was here for part 1, this is where we left off at. She never answered his question. Like I said, for me, there were a lot of unanswered questions on both parts. Now, I do believe when it comes to the abortion issue that, we're dealing with, I do believe that Kamala gets the win, of course. Let's listen to some more, y'all.
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month, and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security. We know it's an issue that's...
Let me ask y'all. Drop a one if you feel like this presidential debate. Drop a one if you feel like they were being biased towards Trump. Drop a one if you think they were being biased towards Trump. Drop a two if you think it was all good. Tina says, I agree with Ms. Harris on the abortion. She says, let women make their own choices for themselves. Just stay out of women's bedrooms. And I agree with that. You know, hey, it is what it is. Wise Watcher dropped the 2. Salute Wise Watcher. I mean, it's y'all bodies. At the end of the day, even if it's my wife, Tina dropped the 2. At the end of the day, salute Nola, it's still my wife's body. If my wife wants to get an abortion, that's my wife's decision. Now, I will want for my wife to come and talk to me about it. You know, I will want for my girlfriend, whoever the young lady, whoever the female is. James says, second debate should be on Fox. Good point. I think that, you know, my girl, I think she should come and talk to me. I think the female should go and talk and have this conversation with whoever it is that she's pregnant by. And I think that that's the only other person besides this female. And it still comes back to it still being the female's decision. It's her choice. You know, I can argue with her all day long why she should keep the baby. But guess what? I don't have to carry the baby for 9 months. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I take my hat off to women. 2, they gave Trump more time than Kamala. I take my hat off to mothers. Hey. I've been in the delivery room several times, and to actually see it. Now, I'm not even experiencing it, but to see the pain on that woman's face. So I think that it still comes down to that woman. Tina says that's what man and his woman should do, definitely. Perp says no man should tell a woman what to do with their body. And that's just how I feel. You know, Spoken Facts dropped the 2. Spoken Facts says, I don't think they were being biased towards Trump. He just put more lies than truths out, so they had to remind him of it. They challenged Vice President Kamala with some of her accusations as well. Same, and that's what I'm saying. For me, and I ride neutral, to me, it wasn't biased. They brought the heat with her the same way they brought the heat with Trump. Trump does not want a second debate because he said he won this last one.
Important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know.
I think this was a heavy question for Kamala. James says the abortion and border debate is going to determine an election because, in my opinion, Trump holds the border. He's winning when it comes to the border patrol, and Kamala is winning when it comes to the abortion. So that's a good perspective, James. That's a very good perspective. But as y'all can see, they're asking her, they're coming to her about the border situation. And last time I checked, which was not even 5 minutes ago, she is not winning when it comes to the border patrol, when it comes to immigration. She takes an L. she gets an L when it comes to the border patrol, the border security, and the immigration. So you can't say that they were being biased, because if they were being biased, then they would have definitely stayed away from the questions that points to Kamala as taking an L. I mean, so I don't think that they were being biased at all. If anyone else sagging? I mean, is anyone else sagging? Can y'all hear Shank, or is it just me? Drop a 1 if y'all can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Tina says she can't hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat. Okay, Perp says she can hear. Perp says she can hear.
The numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the traffic.
So he asked her, why did they wait 6 months prior to the election to get on top of the border security? Nola says, I never had children and I do not like to talk about the abortion subject. Jamie says, it's good on my end. Okay. So like I said, they can't be biased if they're asking her, why all of a sudden now are you talking border security? Why all of a sudden now are you talking about immigration laws? 6 months before the election, y'all had 4 years, 3 years. Y'all didn't do nothing when it came to the border security. So they're not being biased. This wasn't a biased debate at all. Denithia says, in the country, the elders say that death walks around the woman's body 12 times because of the distorted, the pelvic indoors. Trump lost the border because he rejected Democrats' policy. Shank, you got me on mute or something. I can't hear anything. I don't got you on mute, Tina. You might have to close out your, well, you can't hear me. She can't even hear me. But somebody in the chat let her know that I don't got her on mute. Somebody in the chat let her know that I don't got her on mute.
Of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
I believe that happened in Ohio. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that it happened in Ohio, and I believe allegedly that it was some Haitians. I'm not sure now, so don't quote me. Don't quote me. Maybe somebody can clear it up for me. But it did happen. It did happen. It was a report. Matter of fact, Dana J had showed it on his platform, where the police came out and everything. And that happened in Ohio. So it did happen now. So once again, we cannot ignore, for Kamala supporters, you cannot ignore the negative. I like to call it the bad and the ugly. You cannot ignore what she has gotten wrong. You cannot point out what Trump has gotten wrong and don't accept what Kamala has gotten wrong. For the Trump supporters, you cannot point out what Kamala has gotten wrong, but then when somebody present to you what Trump has got wrong, you shy away from it. I ride neutral. So I'm able to see both sides. I ride neutral. Pee-wee says she mopped the floor with his ASS Kamala all day. Out of the Storm says Trump said he saw it on TV. Perk says I saw that. Out of the Storm said it did not happen. Tina says I don't think she could have done anything because she wasn't president. Biden was, and he didn't do anything about the border. Trump may as well be called Legion, as there are many lies and dirt in TFG.
And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
Now let me ask y'all, okay? Who makes the better president? Who makes the better president? Out of the Storm says Trump may as well be okay. Then he says the question was why you killed the bill. The Nithya says vote unhinged Trump. Who is going to make the better president? At the end of the day, will Kamala be able to do a 4-year term? Will she be able to get through 4 years? Will Trump be able to get through 4 years? You have the good, you have the bad, you have the ugly. No matter how you slice it, dice it, no matter how you flip it, strip it, dip it, when they become the president, what are we going to say? For the Kamala supporters, what are you going to say? Because remember, y'all said vote for Biden to get Trump out of office. Then when Biden got in office and Biden didn't fulfill all of his commitments and he didn't come through with all of his promises, y'all were upset. When Trump got into office, remember, we got to vote for Trump so Hillary won't get in there. This is true. This is true. I remember. Why do we got to vote for Trump again? We got to vote for Trump so Hillary won't get in there. Then when Trump got in there, you wasn't satisfied with the job that Trump done. Then you say, we got to vote for Biden. Well, why we got to vote for Biden? So Trump can get out of there. Then when Biden gets in there, you unhappy with Biden. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong. When Trump started to open his big mouth, when Trump started to let his nuts hang, that's when the problem with Trump came an issue. And he has a big mouth. And it's not so much of him having a big mouth. It's just he didn't know what to say out of his big mouth. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to Trump. His character is what worries me. It don't have nothing to do whether or not him getting the job done. I think he done an excellent job. I think Trump done an excellent job. I do. But it's his big mouth. It's what comes out of his big mouth that worries me. Kamala knows how to play the game. See, Trump don't know how to play the game because Trump is a businessman. He's not a politician, so he don't know how to play the game.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people on
I'm taking it from
television
the city
saying the
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. This is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the Republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this.
I will say that exactly what she's saying. Now, these are former employees of Trump. These are military people. These are his people. And they're not too happy with Trump. They don't give Trump a pass at all. Are we going to ignore that? Are we going to ignore that? I think we cannot ignore that. I think we cannot ignore that. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to Trump. As much as I feel like he makes the better president, his mouth hurt him. His mouth has caused major damage. His character. I know for the Trump supporters, y'all don't care about his character. I know for the Trump supporters, y'all don't care what comes out of his mouth. But guess what? Guess what? Everybody is not like you. And you have to be concerned about what comes out that man's mouth. It's no different from the Kamala laughing all the time. See, that's my thing that I want to talk to both sides. I want to talk to both sides, because the same thing that you condemn Trump about, Kamala has the same issues. The same things that you condemn Kamala about, Trump has the same issues. They both are characters. They both are leading the people astray. I got to call a spade a spade. If for 1 minute you think that Trump is all the way squeaky clean, you got it twisted. If you think that Kamala is all the way squeaky clean, you got it twisted. So what am I saying? What am I saying? I'm saying the same thing that I said in the last demonstration. Which one is the less of the evil? Which one is the less of the two evils?
Election.
President Trump will give you a quick minute to respond.
Yeah, thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people, not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper, he was no good, I fired him, so he writes a book. Another one writes a book, because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they? But
I'm going to take some comments. Now, he's saying he fired everybody. And he's saying that Biden, Kamala, and them didn't fire anybody. I mean, you're going to fire everybody? I don't think that everybody is wrong. I don't think on a job, everybody is not capable of performing a job. But he said he fired everybody. He fired top-notch people as well. Let me read these comments, y'all. TT says Trump is too arrogant and makes promises he can't keep. Nithya says Barack is right. He has a problem with crowd sizes. Real talk, Wise Watcher. That's a good point. Let me come to Wise Watcher. Let me get your comment. She says, Wise Watcher, I think whatever Trump says would happen if Harris gets in office is really what would happen if he gets in office. Whatever Trump say negative about someone, it's really him. All right, that's TT agreeing with it. I go Perp says, but Shank, like you said, if they was a team, it would be a great one. It would be a hell of a team. It would be a hell of a team. Them two, Oliver Storm says, back in the day when they freed slaves, it took over a year for word to get to the slaves. That's how some of y'all gonna be if Trump gets elected. He ain't gonna do nothing for us. Fake real immigrant raids. Wise Watcher says Harris, I think, is the lesser of the evil. I see you, Pee-wee. Tina says he fired them because they would not bow down to his demeanor. Pee-wee says, what was bias? That's what I'm saying. To me, it wasn't biased. They wasn't being biased. You know, I'm going to call a spade a spade. The Nithya says Kamala is the lesser. Okay, now, when it comes to foreign policies, how do y'all feel when it comes to foreign policies? Do you think we know when it comes to Trump, we know that Trump didn't play with the foreign countries. and they wasn't too quick to push up on Trump. Can Kamala keep that same energy? Can she keep the same energy? Pee Wee says, now ride neutral, Shank. Can Kamala keep the same energy? He fired everybody because they were not puppets. He couldn't put his hand there back. Trump wants to be a dictator. James says, sometimes Trump exaggerates. That's his downfall. Correct. Tina says he's too arrogant. Out of the Storm says projection is what he do.
They have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any president, sitting president in history by far.
Drop a 1 if Trump has gotten the most votes out of any president. Drop a 1. Drop a 2 if you disagree. Drop a 1 if you believe Trump got the most votes out of all the presidents of the United States of America. Man. They're that exaggerating, go James. They're that exaggerating, go James. Boy, that boy can exaggerate. Man, oh man, oh man. I see you, Emma. He said he got more votes. Let me get my mind off of him. Donithia says when it comes to foreign policies, he slept with the enemy. Salute the Full Life. The Full Life says, looks like a race war coming. If she wins, I'm on the black side. Out of the Storm says, y'all forget it was a worldwide epidemic. World leaders was dealing with what was in front of them. Emma says, Trump loves to defect. Two, Joe got 81 million. Sounds like the most to me. Danithia says Vladimir Putin is not endorsing Kamala. James says Asia will return the favor and support her since she signed the bill. Danithia says this is a man that said his crowds were bigger. Trump says his crowds were bigger than Martin Luther King's.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier, so let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military. You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah. It is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country. And they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down, all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof, despite their fraudulent statements that they made. Crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But
excuse me, the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud. Just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear, where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department.
I want to talk to y'all. I want to talk to y'all about the Constitution of the United States of America. We have to pay attention. We really have to pay attention, because the last time that I checked, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, Black people are considered to be 3/4 of a human being. According to the Constitution of the United States of America, Black people are still considered to be slaves. So if Trump is trying to do away with the Constitution of the United States of America, what's so wrong about that? One thing that I noticed about the American people, we really, really don't understand what has been established to create this business that you all know as the United States of America. The United States of America is a business. Let's backtrack. All you got to do is backtrack. When the Constitution was created, where were Black people? Now, when Abraham Lincoln allegedly freed the slaves, correct? Did they change the Constitution of the United States of America? Was it changed? Was it destroyed? Was it rewritten? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend. Was that Constitution rewritten? I don't think so. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe after the slaves were quote unquote free, I believe that, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the slaves, when they begin to be able to vote, I believe that majority of Black people became Democrats. If a Republican allegedly freed us, how did we side with the Democrat Party? Huh? Now, Trump wants, in their words, Trump wants to get rid of the Constitution. What's so bad about getting rid of the Constitution? What's so bad about getting rid of the Constitution that didn't mean no good for us or by us? And we got a problem because Trump want to get rid of the Constitution?
Of justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails. Because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President
to stop
Harris.
him.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President.
The origins of the Democratic donkey can be traced to the 1828 presidential campaign of Andrew Jackson. During that race, opponents of Jackson called him a jackass. Perp says her mother, what about we the people? The USA is disgusting at this point. They know they stole our inheritance, used our ancestors for their gain and hard labor, and after all this time, we still fighting the same bull crap and getting nowhere. James says she's all for the border being open. Let me switch lanes. Y'all, for a few, and let me talk about the switching lanes sector and the latest news. So me, along with some other content creators, as y'all know, we started a new sector on YouTube called Switching Lanes. And the sector is to help promote and highlight the content creators that actually has content on politics, content on religion, content on social issues, relationships, content on community activists. Some of the content creators are active in the community, such as myself, Miss Parker, Perp, Vino Entertainment TV, and Just Me TT, as well as the other content creators. So we are active in the community. So we come together to support each other, Because on YouTube, we see what makes the algorithm. And we're not player hating. I'm not telling nobody that they shouldn't, have whatever it is that they're using for content. Content is content. Even scratching, even when you're scratching with each other, that's a form of content. However, the switching lane sector, we advocating, and like I said, we pushing for the content on these different issues and topics. So we started it 2 weeks ago. We started it on a Saturday. I didn't do a demonstration that day, but Perp from Vino Entertainment TV, she done a demonstration. Miss Parker, Tommy from Still Swinging Podcast, and Just Me TT, they done a demonstration. Shano didn't do a demonstration. So that first Saturday that we actually started it, 4 content creators went live. And I think that that was a very successful day that we had. So then the next week, which was last week, Perp had to go Sunday and Miss Parker had to go Friday, but Miss Parker was unable to go because Miss Parker has COVID. So if I could get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for Miss Parker. So if any of y'all have been wondering, where's Miss Parker? Why haven't Miss Parker went live? Miss Parker has COVID. She's doing a little better. So she wasn't able to go live. Now, originally Saturday was going to be the day for the switching lanes sector, for the content creators. Perk, she's locked in for Sundays now because Sundays is more better for her. And then also Perk is on Central Time. So she's an hour behind Eastern Time. So make sure everybody keep that in mind. Perk is on Central Time. So I dropped the link, Perk, if you want to hit the link. TT, if you want to hit the link. If y'all want to hit the link, come on up. And I just want to talk to y'all briefly before, we get back to the Trump and Kamala debate. But if y'all don't want to hit the link, that's fine. You don't have to hit the link. That's fine. You know what I mean? I just wanted to give y'all opportunity to maybe say a few words. But I'm just going to speak briefly on when should you clap back on YouTube? And I'm going to answer it as easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC. You should be able to clap back on YouTube whenever you feel like it. Don't let nobody tell you not to clap back. All right? Don't let nobody tell you not to clap back. You should be able to clap back. You should be able to handle your business whenever you want to and however you want to. Salute, TT. How you feeling?
Salute, Shane. I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
I'm feeling great. I'm glad to have you a part of this sector, the switching lanes. I see that you've been missed by a whole lot of subscribers.
Yes.
A whole lot of subscribers misses you.
Yes. And I missed them too, Shane. I really did.
Talk to us about your content. Tell everybody what you bring to the table.
Okay. So over on my channel, Just Me TT, it's just about me being solo. And the content that I'm passionate about is bringing awareness about Black and brown missing children and teens and adults from our communities. I don't think they shed enough light. I don't think we get enough media coverage on people of our color that are missing in the United States today. I'm here in the Northeast, central part of the world. I'm in Ohio, and we had close to over 40 some missing children come about in one city in a matter of a month. And there's something wrong with that. There's something else going on because, as I stated before, Shank, kids are just not getting up and leaving their homes. I know we have a high rate of children in the foster care system. I know that we have gang-related activities, going on within our communities. We are all aware of that, but there's something else going on with the abductions that are taking place and why it's not being spoke about enough. I also cover, along with Perp, because she's out in her community feeding the homeless. So I do like to shed light on the homeless issue that we have in America as well. Homeless veterans, things of that nature, subjects to that nature. I talk about a whole array of different things. We're about to do our political conference presented by, of course, the Switchin Lane sector. And I'm going to have voting Democrats on my panel to come up and speak and give their opinion on the election and voting and different issues. And Perp is going to do the Republicans. So we're coming together and joining our channels together to do that. And we're presenting that in October. And women topics, men topics, health related issues. I've done anything positive to just bring the community together, just to bring people together. I rarely have drama, scratching, stuff like that on my channel. Now, to address what occurred today over at Perps, Vino Entertainment TV, everybody knows that I came over on YouTube and I was a part of another channel and we were supporting one young lady. That young lady turned out to be one of the biggest snakes, in my opinion, on the app. She not only deceived a lot of her supporters and the group of women that she gathered up under her wing, but she was deceiving towards herself. And that's how I met Perp and some of the other young ladies from that channel, and we all band together and bound together, and it's been a sisterhood. So I'm very passionate about bringing awareness on building healthy relationships, you know, building a foundation on having what a healthy sisterhood looks like. And sometimes we do have to get out of character. That's not how we're trying to present ourselves, but sometimes on social media, your character does get attacked and you have to defend it. So I want to thank Shank for being in support of what took place today. We're not asking people to switch sides and, pick a side. We just want to go in a more positive direction and keep it there if possible. But as you mentioned, Shank, sometimes you do have to address the negative, the not so pretty, put it in plain sight and let it be what it's going to be. Yeah, so I'm excited about being a part of the Switchin Lane sector personally, because you all are just a great group of people over here. And I noticed that from the very beginning of being familiar with Shank and Miss Parker's channels. And you guys welcome me with open arms and have always shown me nothing but utmost respect and been in support of my channel and what I'm doing over there as well. So, yeah, as long as we continue to support and uplift each other, no matter what the circumstance and situation is, we're going to be okay.
That's right. Amen. Amen.
Well said, TT. You slide in first. Let everybody know what you bring to the table, your content and your goals. What exactly are you trying to accomplish?
Okay. I talk about my main thing that I really what brought me to two things. The main thing that brought me to YouTube was firearm violence and homelessness. As I went on, what brought me as far as firearm violence, my son had got unalive. He was 21. He make it real short. He came in and asked me if he can go out. I told him sure. He said, "Can I use your car?" I said sure. He said, "Because not enough room for me and my friends to ride around in, to go hang out in." I said sure. And I said, "Yeah, you can go," because the fact that my son didn't go nowhere. My son was a youth minister. He fed the homeless. He took people to appointments. He took kids and doctor's appointments. Everybody always called him my son. He was a manager at Metro PCS at nighttime for the cell phones. And so, of course, I was not reason for me to tell him that he couldn't go hang out, for his birthday, So that would be wrong with me. So I know I had a good kid. So he was memorable and very respectful. So I said, yeah, you can go. So I let my son go out and everything. And so, we all got instincts. A man got an instinct. A woman got an instinct. And I kept on feeling this instinct. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. I told my friend, he's like, "Ben, I said, Ben, something ain't right. I don't feel right." And then when 1 o'clock came, I know my son come home at a normal time. He don't be late. He don't be no 1 or 10. If he gonna be late, he'll come in, "Mom, I'm gonna be a little late. Do you mind?" I don't care how long you're gonna be late. Probably about 20 more minutes. Like, okay, sure. But this time he didn't make no phone call, and I knew something was wrong. So that's what made me start my firearm balance. Again, my son passed away on June the 30th, 2018. His birthday. I buried him July the 7th. His birthday was July the 14th. He passed away 2 weeks before his birthday. He's going to be 22 years old. I didn't see my young man grow up to having kids. I didn't see him get married. He didn't watch me get old. He didn't just take me to different places that he wanted to take me, spend time with me. But I did get love, kisses, hugs. I love you. I got memories. I got joy. I got laughter in my heart still that I got from him. So that's what made me start a channel for firearm violence. And then, I went on. I said, "Well, my son fed the homeless, so I'm gonna take up what he liked to do." And since I've been doing it, I feel so good, Shanky. I feel so good about feeding the homeless. I feel good when I go out to talk to those people. They hug me, tell me they They appreciate me feeding them. They didn't know where they're gonna get their next meal. When somebody tell you they don't know where you get their next meal from, that makes you feel good that you know to help them out. It makes you feel good. And that's why I started there. And so that's why I started my show. And I also have been in domestic violence. So I also knew what domestic violence felt like. I know what it looked like. I know what it is. So I also want to let women know, and I want them to know that also men's also be in domestic violence. So, but the thing about the difference between a man and a woman, a man would not go file charges. He's embarrassed. But a woman, she more likely will. So don't ever think a man is not getting abused, because the men do get abused as well, but they won't speak out about it. So that's another reason why I started that, about domestic violence. And I know a lot of people get molested, men, women, children. So there's a lot of things, a sore subject right there that a lot of people don't like to talk about. But it's happening. It's really happening in homes, out there in the streets. When you got young ladies getting taken advantage of, they're taking our kids. They're doing all kinds of things. So I just want people to be aware of what's going on within life. You know, and I don't talk about domestic violence, firearm violence every day, but I do talk about other things like what's going on in life, like the Diddy thing, the Tamar Brasson, the new trending topics, things like that. And I also do the missing children as well. Like I said, I just do a variety of things. I'm an older person, and like today, I don't like to scratch, but I will scratch. I'll scratch your eyes out if I need to, but I don't like to. And one thing that really bothered me with the TT situation, you know, when you disrespect your elders, I got a problem with that. You know, I got a mom. My mama ain't here, but I love my mama. Everybody got a mama. No matter how hard things get, and you got a dad and mom, I promise you, your kid is going to go to your mom. You're gonna go to your mom. You know,
Right.
you got a dad, but you're gonna go to mom because mom gonna handle it. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about that sometimes, you know. So yeah. So I just want everybody to just get together and think about what goes in life. Keep your hands off of women. And it's, one thing about black men and black women, we disrespect each other. We down put each other. We don't respect each other enough. We call each other B's, H's, and things like that. And that ain't right. You know, how you gonna be my king and you disrespecting me? How you gonna be my queen? And ladies, y'all be raw. Y'all be some raw sisters now. Hey, I seen y'all cut down, brother. You hear me? So I can't leave y'all out. I'm a sister too now, and I do it too. I've done it. You hear me? So yeah.
And Shank, that just to piggyback off of what Purpose saying. Miss Cassandra, she put in the chat today, she said, you know, this is the problem. We need a better breakdown of communication between black men and black women. We just simply have an issue in knowing how to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could get that part figured out, Shane, I think a lot of these relationship problems, a lot of these relationship issues in general wouldn't be so prevalent. And I feel, you know, I came from a strong household. My mother was a single parent after I turned 10 years old. And I learned a lot from her. And she didn't go through what she went through, Shank, for me to sit down and just take any old kind of disrespect and abuse from nobody, man or woman. So that's just something that I'm very passionate about, standing up for myself, you know, and I'm going to stand up for the next person if I see them getting done wrong, you know.
And that's real. Perk, was y'all able to salute the South Memphis show? I see you. Were y'all able to come to some kind of resolution? Because
we did. The young man apologized. He did apologize. She accepted his apology. He did get blocked. He need to learn his place as a man, not a young boy, as a man. Myself, I'm in my 50s, Shane, and I don't care if it's a black man, white woman, white man. I don't care what the race may be. They're older than me. I'm gonna respect my elders, man. You know, I can't go in there and just disrespect them, cuss them out, talk to them bad, harass them, call them on phone. I can't do. It's not in my soul to do that, and I can't fool nobody to do that. If you do something that you do that, things like that, I can't fool with you because it ain't right. You know, I respect everybody.
I think the unfortunate thing is this gentleman is really a good-hearted person. Deep down he is. But Shank, addiction and strongholds are real. And if you don't get a handle on that, it can mess your relationship, your personal relationships up. It can draw people away from you. And sometimes in life, you just got to know when to walk away, because you can't help a person that's not willing to help themselves. So I'm not going to, come up here and badmouth him or anything, but he knows what his issues are and what he needs to get a handle on.
How did it make you feel, Perk, when you clapped back? Did it make you feel good? Did it make you feel like, damn, I got out of character, I shouldn't have allowed them to get me out of character? Or was it like, yeah, I needed that, I was on one and I needed that? How did it make you feel?
Well, see, I've been knowing this guy I've been knowing him for quite a while. I've met him, I met his mom. And it made me feel bad at first, because of the fact that I know his mom. His mom is a wonderful woman. She's a strong woman. You know what I'm saying? And she's been through a lot, and she carried herself nicely, and she talked real nice, respectful. So I know he wasn't raised like that. You know what I mean? And I know that his mom wouldn't appreciate how he out there talking to an elderly lady that's older than her like that, because she don't talk to her elders like that. I'm sure she don't. And I'm sure she'd be so disappointed if she saw her kid do that. So that pisses me off, because why would you do you can say you want to say to anybody else, but when you come down to an elder, you know what I'm saying, and they ask you nicely, and then you come back with the cursing and all this and that really teed me off a little bit. Like, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that. That's disrespectful,
But when you got it out of your system, how did you feel? I
felt better, and I felt like I hope I got across to him to handle his situation better than what he do, because I put my brothers and my sisters as kings and queens, how we need to be talked to respectfully. And I feel like the way somebody come to you and talk to you, you have to go to the person a certain kind of way. You can't talk to nobody no any kind of way. It's what you say to a person. It ain't what you say to a person. It's how you say it. You say anything you want to a person, but it's how you say it to a person, for to them to accept what you say and how they comprehend what you say and how they take it. You can say the baddest things to a person, but it's how it come to and how you say it to them and how they receive it. Yeah, so I feel good later on down the line. I'm like, well, I hope he got some understanding, because I hope you don't do your elders like that, to talk to people better than what you do, because everybody deserves to be talked to the right way. Everybody deserves to be listened to and had a conversation heard, because when a lot of people's talking and fussing and arguing, bickering, you will not get nothing done at the end of the day, because when tomorrow comes, you're going to be still doing what? Arguing, fussing, bickering. And I don't like to go from today arguing, go to tomorrow arguing, the next day. I can't keep doing it. I don't have it in my body.
Yeah,
it's not in my body to keep doing it.
Get it out,
it ain't
find
in my
the
soul.
solution.
And I'm going to do it right time. Yeah. Because, it bothers me, Shane, when some real thing happen like that and I can't get it out right then. When I go to bed at night, it bothers me in my sleep. When I wake up that next morning, my anxiety be raised up. I can't get no rest. I can't figure stuff out. So I have to go on and handle it right then, because it's getting on my nerve.
Yeah. And we're familiar with sectors where they just beef, troll, and they don't come to a solution of anything. They be enemies on Monday. They're going to be enemies next to Monday, the Monday after that, and 5 Mondays following after that. And in our communities, we got to have healthy relationships. We got to have conversations that may not feel good, that may not be comfortable to us, but how we ever going to come to a resolution between each other, men and women, if we don't have these conversations? You may not like what I say. I may not like what you say, and we can agree to disagree. But hey, you got to come to some kind of understanding.
Ground, right?
And respect is earned. You're everybody's old should be owed respect until they just don't. And then that's when I know how to block you, turn you off, don't watch you, don't interact. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had to get that out of my chest, and I feel pretty good once I got that out of my chest, and I hope that he understand that you can't talk to people like that. Your elder, you respect your elder. You can't talk to no young people like that. When you come to young people, you got to talk to the young people a certain kind of way. If not, they ain't gonna respect you. They don't even hear nothing you got to say. They ain't want to. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You ain't talking about nothing. They do that. I've seen them do that before. And sometimes, people understand the things that you do, kids, it might even be your kids, other kids see what you do, other kids be watching. So we got to be mindful of what we do out here in the open and mindful of what we sow, because kids go back and repeat things. Kids go back and do things, and they mimic what grown people do. And all people got to blame for things like that is us. It's us. We don't want to hurt our kids. We don't want to hurt our future. It's us. We doing it. It's all us.
Because they sponges, they soaking up everything they see us doing, for sure. And then stuff we ain't showing them. They learning on their own.
And I'm gonna just say this, don't be through, Shank. You know, I've been seeing you, some of you black women. I'm just gonna say some of you black women. I'm gonna say how I see it. Is out here acting a fool with y'all kids. Drop your kids off with your baby dad because they don't want to pay no child support, or you ain't getting enough child support. Quit being greedy. Let that man see that kid. The kids are acting the kids are acting up because the daddies are not present. Some of you women are running the doggone men's off for having support you all. Quit running your support off. It ain't all about money. It's also sometimes come and take the kids to practice, help them with their homework, spending time with them, cooking a meal. It ain't always about child support. I know it's needed, but when the man ain't got child support at the present time, he can do alternative things to take care of his spot for child support. But you women be out there acting a fool, cussing them out. They say enough food. I don't want that. I want the money. Get your kids, drop the kids out there with them. Y'all, come on, y'all. Come on. You drop the kids off at the fire department because you don't want them no more because you can't handle it. What's wrong with y'all? Come on. I'm doggone me. I was raised up with women had 12 kids, 13 kids, 19 kids, 20 kids, and they took every care of their kids, each and every last one of them, without the man in the house. He just had that, but he was not home. Y'all, come on. Y'all, please, my sisters, get yourself together. If you can't get yourself together, go some kind of counseling, family counseling for you and your kids. I mean, get it together. Don't take your kids off and drop off on anybody. You can drop off a football store, anything you dropping off, because at the end of the day, that's your baby. You know what I'm saying? That's your kid. Come on, y'all. And that's all I got to say about that, Shaq. I'm so sorry. I had to say it because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. They doing the kids like that, dropping them off, and they don't want because they ain't getting no child support. And one man talk bad about his own kid and don't even know what the kid like. You know, y'all got to do better than this, my sisters and my brothers. Come on. We are our worst enemies. We are our enemies. We are the enemy. That's all.
I think, and then I'm going to let you slide in, TT. I think a good way for us to heal in our community, I think that us men should hold other men accountable. I think the women should hold the women accountable.
Yes.
One of our problems is men versus women. The men are trying to get the women to see what they're doing wrong. The women are trying to get the men to see what they're doing wrong. It's going to be hard because first thing a man is going to say to a woman, you a woman. You don't know how a man think, vice versa. The woman gonna say the same thing to the man. You don't know nothing about being no woman. You don't know nothing about being no mother. But if women hold other women accountable, if men hold other men accountable, that's where it starts. Hey, bruh, you can't come around me acting like that. Hey, bruh, I seen how you was handling Miss Joanne. I don't play that disrespecting elders, because if you would disrespect Miss Joanne, bro, then ain't no telling you'll disrespect some of my family members. Vice versa. When the women, y'all know a queen when y'all see a queen. Y'all know a female that's ratchet. Y'all know. So if y'all hold them accountable, then that'll take a lot off of us. Like I said, vice versa. Let us hold them in accountable. Like in the YouTube streets, when the women be scratching, the one thing that always, I be like, a female, like, let's take for instance, I'm going to use y'all for an example.
Okay.
TT might know that Perk is dead wrong. Instead of TT pulling your coattail and say, wait a minute, queen, We don't get down like that. Pump your brakes. You was wrong. TT go along with the get along game.
You better preach, Shank.
You you just be looking, and that's how a lot of the mess gets started. That's how a lot of the mess continue to stay boiled. I watch it, and I notice if you leave A and B alone to scratch or handle their situation, 9 times out of 10, A or B gonna squash whatever issue they got, or 9 times out of 10, A gonna go her separate way, B gonna go her separate way. But it's the C's, the D's, the E's. It's all the sideline players that's adding fuel to the fire.
I agree.
Amen. Amen.
And these particular topics are what we need to be talking about, Shane. And doing it in our sector is one way to try to make some differences and some changes. I truly believe that. Because again, we all are like-minded people who just want the best for everybody. We may not always get along with the next person, but if we can get through to just a couple or one person, at least we've done what we've been assigned to do. And like you said, the go along, get along stuff is completely out of control.
It is.
I just tend to be neutral, and hey, until you cross me or until you do something negative towards me, you my person. Everybody starts off being just me, TT's person, until you just not, till you give me a reason to not be my person. And that's just the mindset that I have. I've been through way too much in life to just walk around and be angry all the time and hateful for no reason. So that is the point of opinion. You know, I don't like them because they over there doing this, saying this and that. It really doesn't matter. We all different in our own way. And that's just the blessings that God has bestowed upon us to all have different minds and, you know, characters and stuff. But we can do better. We definitely can do better.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for.
And then, you know, I'm also in the front mind frame, Shane, that like I said, I'm in my 50s, and I feel like my whatever how many more years God got me here, I'm not planning on being here arguing with no fools. You hear me? I'm not planning on being here being a yes. I'm planning on having myself some fun, enjoying the rest of my life. My kid grown. I got another kid for it, enjoying my life. I don't have time to be sitting around arguing with folks and, you know, carrying on. I don't like to argue. I like to have a problem solved and be through with it. I don't like to go on for days and days. And the reason I like to argue because of the fact that I'm older, and I heard older people say that, you know, it's not best to argue with people because don't go to bed mad. I don't go to bed mad because you know the next morning I might not wake up. You know what I'm saying? That next person might even be here the next morning. I argue with this person, man. This person now I can't say I'm sorry. Now I'm looking real crazy. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be the person that when I'm arguing with somebody and they leave going to work and something happened to them. You know, I acted crazy. The Reaper done came through and took them away. I done acted the fool. You see what I'm saying? And left me there with sovereign because I done showed my butt. I don't like that. And I don't like to argue, but I just like to everybody just get along. And like I told Tori today that we are our own worst enemies. We are hurting our own self. And I was asking Tori today, he didn't really answer me. My question was, even though all the things is going on, just put the Caucasian and the African American man on both sides, on one on each side. Now, it ain't as far as in the streets, as far as one-on-one, as far as the police brutality, I understand. Okay, I got that. That's with the black and white. I understand that. But when it comes down as far as us hurting, as far as if the white man is shooting the black man, the white man ain't shooting the black man. The black man is shooting the black man. We black crime on black crime. You know, they send back. They ain't got to do nothing to us. They watching us take our own self. We taking our own lives. They ain't taking us out. We taking our own. The young men is taking their own lives out. We can't blame them people. We come down to a certain point. We are taking our own self out. Our own men are taking our own men out. we are decreasing our own popularity.
Mm.
And I just want people to understand that. It ain't the white man taking us out. We taking us out. We need to slow down. Like you said, we need men to talk to these young men who is misguided. We need these young men to be understanding how life works. You know, and you got young men to go out, be mad. They got things going on and can't handle it, but they be needing that a man to talk to. They ain't got no man to talk to, Shank. Ain't nobody there. They got the other young hot heads there. Yeah, man, go do this, go do this. They ain't got no real man standing here and say, man, young man, look here, let me talk to you. Let me put you to the side. Let me holler at you. This ain't how it go. You know what I'm saying? Go get your job, chill out, relax your mind, go to school, whatever you need to do. But all this right here, it ain't necessary. You need a man to show him that it ain't right. But you got these knuckleheads with these other knuckleheads telling me it's right, and they're doing the wrong doggone thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wish these men would step up to be a man. Not in the house or just be a man. You got to know that young man. Just a man, you might sit on the street, you might need just to holler at that man. He might need to be hollered at. You don't know what he's going through. He might have to go ahead and go up here and hurt everybody in Walmart. I'm gonna go ahead and rob a bank. He needs to be like, now, young man, let me holler at you. It ain't the way to go. It's another way to do it. You know, and I wish young men and black men would stand up to your young men and help them out instead of just stand to the side and look at them do wrong. And that ain't right.
I agree.
I mean, well said. You know, we lost our way. Like, you know, when we were coming up, it was the movies and the TV shows that influenced us. We don't have that no more. But we can only fault ourselves.
That's right.
We can only fault ourselves. We are the ones that are putting these false images out. The Bible talk about worshiping these false images. That's the false images that the Bible talk about. Man, we can argue all day long. Yeah, but it's the industry, and the industry is doing this, and it's the industry is doing that. Like you said, they're not. They might be controlling it, and they might set out to do it. But what are we doing?
Right.
Are we doing anything to stop it?
Mm-hmm.
Not much.
Go ahead. Come on, TT. Come on.
Like you saying, basically, Shank, it's the puppets and the puppeteers and the system that, you know, this all is built on. And we need to recognize the system. In order to get to the root of the problem, you got to get to the root of where it started and why it started.
Are we sacrificing our time? Are we sacrificing our money? Are we sacrificing our resources? Most importantly, are we sacrificing our lives? See,
absolutely.
If you want to talk about gangster, you got to go to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and, you know, the Black Panthers and Harriet Tubman. You got to go back to them.
Right.
They stood for something.
That's right.
They stood for something.
That's right.
They risked their freedom for something. They risked their lives for something.
Amen.
That's the only way this change is going to come.
Amen.
What are we sacrificing?
And if we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. And since we were on the political topic, Shank, I just want people to understand this process of voting. You guys talked about it before. Are you just voting Democrat because your great grandmama and her grandmama and everybody else was Democrat? Or do you really have your own mind and knowing who you're voting for, who you're going to place in office? Because you really got to go and dig a little deeper. You know, it's one thing to sit up on a podium and, you know, look good and sound good, but it's all going to make sense at the end of the day, because we got to spend 4+ or however many years with this person running the country. So
yeah,
I've been really enjoying the political conversations, and, you know, I just want to thank you, Shank, and the Rock Squad over here, because y'all are some educated people and y'all know y'all stuff for sure.
That's right.
Appreciate you, TT.
You're welcome.
We gonna switch lanes. We gonna get back to the Trump and Kamala. I promise I'm only going to hold y'all but a few more minutes. TT and Perk, y'all welcome to stay up on the panel if y'all want to.
Okay.
All right, let me take a quick break, and then we're going to get back to the political debate, and then I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Let's go to a quick commercial.
Only vote because other people vote for this person or that person. Let me ask you, do you really know why you are a Democrat? Do you really know why you are a Republican? Do you really know why? Do you really know why you voted for Trump? Do you know why you voted for Biden? These are questions that I need for you to answer. For everybody that's catching this on the replay, please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know why you are Democrat. Let me know why you are Republican. Because believe it or not, many of y'all are Democrats because your family members was Democrats. Many of y'all are Republicans because your spouse is a Republican. Many of y'all don't know why you are Democrat or Republican. Now, this is what...
All right, let's jump back, and then we're going to get out of here.
Well, first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
TT, Perk, was that disrespectful of Trump? Do y'all feel as though he was disrespecting her, or was he giving her a taste of her own medicine?
I truly felt like Trump could have, his demeanor was just kind of attack. And I feel like in that moment, you know, she made some strong facial expressions. I think she did talk under her breath. But he went a little too far when it came to disrespecting her. And that just goes back to the way I feel about Trump and his viewpoint on women, period. I think he feels like women should be seen and not heard. And I think he just took that piece of disrespect to a whole nother level, you know, trying to hush her or, you know, put her in check because she was making facial expressions and talking under her breath.
Was she making wasn't she making facial expressions? I think she was.
She was making facial expressions the whole debate, Perk.
That's right. So what was wrong with what was wrong with him? I don't see anything wrong with him.
I think that he is in his feelings, as Mr. Trump does best. You know, he doesn't. I don't think he likes women. That's just how I feel.
Trump don't like nobody,
and he was gonna prove that during this debate. He was definitely trying to prove it.
But I still think that he's gonna be. I think that if he became president, I think that we should just give him 4 more years to do what he need to do, because of the fact that let me just go in his defense. People say, "Oh, Trump racist." Now Trump is who he been the whole time. He ain't hid nothing. It's been after the whole time that he was racist. He ain't hide that. But also at the same time, he have helped a lot of Black Americans, a lot of athletes, a lot of people in finance and stuff. I believe he have done that. So he ain't too racist. I believe that he just who he is, who he's always been, and it's just there for show, and it just shows on his face. His face just shows it. You see what I'm saying? But I don't think it. I think he didn't disrespect her. I think he did okay.
Shank and Perp, I've heard people say, "Oh, he's not a racist. He's a biggest." That's mainly, you know, like he puts you in the mind of like a Archie Bunker. Y'all remember Archie Bunker back in the day? Yeah. And you know, the way I feel about that is all comments ain't good comments, and all comments don't need to be expressed. You know, especially when you're trying to run a country and, you know, get people to believe and trust in you. Um, Not only is he very arrogant, in my opinion, and you know, he has very little respect for women. He also whines a lot to me. You know,
He been hiding.
some don't go his way. Trump will whine about it for the next
She
14
done here
years.
for the last 4 years. What you been?
And I think that
I
that's
hear
fun.
you too.
I think that that's a lot of people got an issue with that. You know, just take accountability and move forward. It's always somebody else's fault and the bad choices that he's made. So yeah, I don't know.
When,
That's just
when,
my opinion.
when it comes to him being racist and prejudiced, it's really only two things that people bring up. They bring up the Central Park Five. That's one. Then the other thing, I see you, Juanita. I see you down there, Juanita. Then the other thing that they bring up is him not renting to, was it low income blacks or
Yeah, low income blacks. But
Yeah.
Shank, I heard that he did rent to low income blacks, but he was in a slumlord type of situation. He wasn't fixing the building that the people were living in. He wasn't trying to get no funding, and he was also collecting money from them because they were poor blacks to build that wall. His dream was to always build this wall. So I heard different versions of that particular story when it came to him and being the landlord, being the landlord slash slumlord over those properties.
let me let Uncle Charles slide in. What's happening, Uncle Charles?
What's
Salute
up, man?
to you. Salute
What's
to you,
happening,
Uncle Charles.
what's going on? What's happening, my family? I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this comment, and I'm gonna make it real quick. And if y'all don't mind, as family, y'all can tear it apart, do what you analyze, and do what you need to do with, because that's how I learn. Let me say this: that woman, Kamala Harris, she destroyed San Francisco and Oakland single-handedly. If you don't believe what I'm telling you, you can fact check it and go on your Google and find out what kind of DA she was. She destroyed that city. She put black people in jail out there. She put a black young man in jail when she knew he didn't commit a murder. She knew it. And he said he was sitting over there knowing his life was almost over with, and she was over there smiling. You know why? Because she's a red dot Indian, part Jamaican and part Asian. And those women are very conniving. Them women are the kind, wait till you go to sleep and stick you in the head with a butcher knife and with a smile. And you be dead. And they be up there smiling. And they don't give a damn about killing you. She's a dangerous woman. She's a dangerous woman. If it would have been an African-American sister running for president, I would have dug in real hard to listen to her policies. But she came into this thing making people thinking she's black. And when she knows she's not, she played to the base. Now I'm gonna show you something. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this mess where she went to HBU school. Because you go to HBU school don't make you black. I know plenty of white children go to HBU school. And that don't make them black. That make them white. It's in HBU school. That don't make them black. She played to black women with that foolishness. And let me explain something. She's a very dangerous woman. She put black men in jail out there. You know, they got misdemeanors, marijuana, stuff like that. But on misdemeanors, she kept them in jail over time to get free labor out of them while white-collar crime passed her right by. She got into the White House, but she had help. She was dating Montel, had the Montel show. And when he got tired of her, he passed off to Willie Brown in Congress. And Willie Brown made it, he didn't make it no bones that he was sleeping with this woman. And his wife knew it, and everybody knew it in Congress. Even Trump knew it. Because him and Trump had a long talk. See, before we go hailing somebody up to a certain standard, let's find out what did they do to get there. That's all I'm saying. Because everybody got a reason why they're in prison. They got a story to tell. That's why they're there. This is not a game. Let me just tell you what's going to happen. This woman is dangerous. She don't know nothing about. She wouldn't answer anything for his policy. She never said anything about the border. What did Donald Trump say? He said, I tell you what, after the debate, let's go down to the White House, me and you and Joe, and let's write up a legislation and shut the border down. She never responded. Why? Because she's not going to shut the border down. But I can tell you this, when you go on to bed and you wake up in the morning and you got a migrant in your bed, you might well make him some biscuits and some eggs, because if you don't, he's going to make you some too. This is not a game. She's a dangerous person. I can say this as a man, 50-some years old. In 2 years with her in office, we're going to fall into a civil war, and it will be World War III. You want to know why? Because price is going to be too high. You're going to go in there and you want to need some bread for the family. You're going to see that little white girl on the bread. It's called Sunbeam, but you ain't going to be able to get it because it's $15, $20. So now you move on over to the cornbread. And the children expecting bread, but you have to bring that because you have to accept that. But I don't forget the toilet paper, and you go to the grocery store and ain't no toilet paper. Somewhere or another, you're going to have to go across town and you're going to find out ain't no toilet paper over there. And then you're going to have to come to a decision. Either I'm going to sit here with mess on me, or I'm going to wipe my ass with my own shirt, or I'm going to sit here and see which one of us going to say who smell the worst. Which one of us going to smell the worst? Because it ain't going to be no toilet paper. And this is how you fall into civil war. The police is not going to help you when you call for the police. You know why? Because their ass going to be running for their life. We need a politician. Donald Trump is not a politician. He's a rich-ass white man, but he ain't no politician. He's the kind of man that will go in there. He's an Anglo-Saxon. Well, a racist white man won't do business with you, but that Anglo-Saxon, he'll do business with you. Why? Because his color is green. His color is green. That's how he do business. This is not a game. She tried to play old sister girl, walking around there, can't dance a lick, and up there sister girl and all that, and she ain't studying about black women. She don't care nothing about our black women. She don't care about our sisters. She don't care. All she want to do is, see, her thing last night was to play with your emotion. She playing to the emotion of black people. See, we're emotional people. Oh, man, I can't believe he's talking to her like that. But yet and still, she was condescending, and she talked all that crap to him, and nobody says anything. He wasn't debating her last night. He was debating her and them two other fools. That's what he was doing. I saw the setup before it even happened. Because that in there, that same woman from Black, I think that Black News thing, he got into it with that woman. And there she is on ABC answering him some questions. So how can we say it's fair? It's not fair. But even the strangest thing is that she wanted another debate. And Donald Trump said, no, I don't want another debate. And you know why? Because she's behind. And she's behind by a whole lot. Or you wouldn't need to debate him again if you was in the lead. This is not a game. Do I like Donald Trump? No, I don't like Donald Trump. But his policies, I can live with. It's about policies, black people. It's about, can you go in the store and feed your family? It's about, can you pay this high-ass light bill? I am so tired of going around here. I see the girl next door, the girl and her mama. I pay my light bill. The man was coming around there. I don't know what I said. What the hell you come around here for? I don't pay my light bill. And she said, you got $75. I said, no, I ain't got no $75. I got gas money to get my wife to work and my kids to get to school. I said, I ain't got no extra money. She said, they're going to cut my lights off today. She don't invite him in. He left her lights still on. Well, I don't want to know what the hell went on in there, but I know this. She got lights on for the night and tomorrow. This is what it's going to come down to. We need to wake up, black people. It ain't about you liking somebody. It's about, can you deal with the policies? Can you deal with the policies? Here it is. What I don't like, and I'm gonna close it out just like this. I'm gonna close it out like this. When I was a little boy, I used to watch the Olympics, and I saw Bruce Jenner. He won the decathlon. I said, man, boy, would I like to run in that Olympics. And now he's a woman. He's a woman now. So the man I saw in the Olympics, I very well know that ran the Olympics, is dead to me. I don't know who this person is. What's going on? And now they finna give transgender operations to migrants. You can come over here, run across the border, kill you a couple of white folks, and you become a woman if you want to. This is what's going on out here. They got that abortion thing truck right up here up the street from my house. From my house, sitting in the parking lot. Why would we wait till the child come full term and then we want to get rid of the baby? That's crazy. It do say thou shalt not kill, don't it? Or do people even read their Bible anymore? This is not a game. I got to stay up at night to watch over my family with my gun in my hand because we got young people out here that got nowhere to go. They don't got put out their house. They got nowhere to go. Why is these children so rebellious? Why are you so rebellious, young man? Why are you so rebellious, young woman? Why you can't do what your mama tell you? I'm 20 years old, mama. So what? You still here. You still eating and shitting and doing everything else in here. And now you don't want to come in here until 3 o'clock in the morning. So let me tell you what. I am sick of y'all coming here with your boyfriend fighting. And next thing you know, I open the curtain. He choking you and your head is in the window. 2 minutes later, I open the curtain in the kitchen. You choking him, his head in the window. Y'all just WWF. I don't know what the hell to do with you. But I tell you what you finna do. You finna get your ass up and you finna get out of here. That's your daughter. So what? I raised her to be a productive citizen, to be respectful to her elders, to get a job and work for yourself. And don't depend on a man helping you. But no, you in love with him. The very one that got you on Xanax bars, crack, heroin, and if he ain't gonna kill you yet, fentanyl. And now y'all sleeping in abandoned houses, just like this young boy and this young girl right up the road here. It's an abandoned house. They don't crawled in there. And what the hell you doing in there? That house has been abandoned for 20 years. But if you know like I know, you better check with them rats first because they ain't dumb. You thought rats was dumb. They used to be dumb in the 70s. Rats are not dumb now. They're very smart. Your ass gonna have to talk to the head rat before you go in there. Because if you don't, they're gonna tear your ass up. You're gonna get more than what you bargained for. So this is not a game out here. Young woman, do what your mama tell you. She love you. All she wants is the best for you. Y'all did everything together. Y'all put on makeup together. Y'all went to grocery shopping together. Y'all did things for one another. But that's just what the relationship is. Mama and daughter. Ain't no friendship involved. You know why it ain't? Because if y'all are friends and she bring her boyfriend over and you decide to go and get some pizza and you come back and your mama legs up in the air, well, just remember, y'all friends. You ain't mama and daughter. Just remember that. Do you understand that? I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna get on up out of here. I'm tired of these women, some of these mama, and I mean some. I ain't like that. Well, if I was talking about you, I would have said your damn name. See, now you're already ready to argue, and I ain't even talking to you. See, this is why we can't get along. I can be making a statement. Well, you talking about, and if I called your name, did I call your name? No, I ain't called you. Ain't called my. What the hell you talking about? If it ain't you, then don't you worry about it. I want us to carry ourselves as parents like we supposed to. But I don't care if these children is 24 and 25 years old. You bring your ass in this house at a certain time. My daughter did that. She riding around at that night. She said a man was following her. He looked like a Shaw Dog, that rapper. I said, well, hell, you should have been out there then. Like I'm gonna go out there and avenge her for what he did. No, I ain't finna do that. Because what if he grabbed my ass and I don't come back? Stay your ass in the house. This is what it is. So I'd like to thank y'all for letting me come on. I know I'm all over the place, but that's who I am. I can't help myself. This is who I am, and this is what I be. I love my people. I love my black people. And I just want the best for my young sisters and brothers. That's all I want. I ain't trying to be no king, no preacher, none of that mess. But we got to hold the fort down, y'all, and we got to stand together. And we got to say, this was go domestic, everything. We fighting all enemies. And let's stand together and love on one another. Let's not let our young brothers get locked up in the prison over there on some bullshit charges. And next thing you know, Mr. Johnson went by the baby mama house. Now he dropping groceries off. And that nigga ain't dropping groceries off there for nothing. He's trying to break her off something. So y'all be careful out there.
All right.
Thank you, Uncle Charles.
Yes,
I really like that. I really love that delivery and that message. I really did.
As always, As always, Uncle Charles always bring the heat. We gonna get up out of here. TT, is it any last words that you gotta say before we get up out of here?
I think it was put down in your chat. Each one teach one. Keep your head on a swivel, as our good friend Pap always says. Look out for each other, y'all. Love on each other. Correct each other when we need to correcting, and let's just get this lifestyle that we used to live in. Let's just get it under control, y'all. Let's just put a handle on it and make some changes and some differences. And thank you, Shane, for having me up. I really appreciate it. And salute to Rock Squad as well.
Appreciate you, TT. Perk, any
Hey,
last words before we get up out of here?
I just want to tell everyone in the chat and everyone in the bushes, just look at your the person in your house. Just get up right now and go just walking into the room and give them a hug and give them a kiss. You know what I mean? And just for anything, just get up, just get right now, just give them a hug, give them a kiss. And just be thankful that you got that person to give that to. And also, if you ain't got nobody to kiss on yourself, because I always love yourself. And on my channel, as we say, how the hell you gonna love somebody when you don't love yourself? Peace.
Peace, Perk. Appreciate that. Look, I'ma just end it on I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I will leave the chat running and I'll let some of the debate still play. So if y'all want to hang around and congregate down there in the chat, y'all are more than welcome. I will leave the debate
She went out.
running.
She
Salute
went
everybody.
out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing, so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert soil. These are not good things for the environment.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? What are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America? They're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle? They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
you. You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago, her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the president of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say, we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business. That was where bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go and